You need to stop everything you are doing at this very moment. Because what happened while you were distracted by the bills, worried about work, lost in the soap operas of your own life, was something that very few people managed to notice in time. Someone entered your house, not through the front door, not through the backyard window, but through the only door you left wide open yourself, the secret door of your mind. And Michael, the archangel of the flaming sword, is giving you exactly 30 seconds to understand what I'm about to reveal. Because you have spent years asking, begging, crying in silence for an answer from the heavens. You lit candles, memorized prayers, repeated entire mantras, and yet nothing changed. The bill keeps coming. Love remains absent. The illness in the family insists on staying. And do you know why? Because you forgot the main secret. The secret that Neville Goddard tried to shout to the whole world before he passed. You do not attract what you ask for. You attract exactly what you feel you already are. And while you felt lack, scarcity, abandonment, fear, betrayal, and exhaustion, these feelings opened the door of your fourth dimension to guests who should never have been in there. They entered. They sat in your living room. They ate from your spiritual pantry. And they began to command your reality while you slept. That is why life feels like a cycle. That is why improvement lasts a week and disappears. That is why when you think you are going to win, something pulls you back to the ground. Today, with the permission of heaven and with the authority of the I Am that dwells within you, I am going to teach you how to expel each of these guests, and more. I will give you the golden key of the law of assumption, which will completely reprogram your state of consciousness this very night. But I need you to understand one thing before continuing. What comes next is not cheap motivation. It is not toxic positivity. It is practical spirituality. It is the quantum physics of the heart. It is the truth that is hidden from people precisely because it sets them free. Take a deep breath. Sit up straight. Because from this second on, you will begin to see your life with completely different eyes. And it is exactly here at this crossroads of revelation that something inside you needs to be said out loud, even if no one is listening. You did not arrive at this video by chance. It was not the algorithm. It was not a distracted click in the middle of the night. There is an unrest that has been accompanying you for weeks, perhaps months, and you cannot name it. A feeling that you are being called to something greater, a tightness in your chest when you think of the people you love, a premonition that you need to be ready, because something is approaching, and you do not yet have the spiritual armor that your family will need. You feel it, but you do not understand it. Many see, very few comprehend, and those who comprehend have a responsibility that cannot be ignored to protect your own. That child who has not yet awakened, that spouse who is asleep, that mother who prays, but prays by asking, not by assuming. The mission starts with you, and it starts now. That is why I prepared a powerful digital book for you. It is called How to Know If You Are Saved for the Day of Judgment, and it is not an ordinary book. It is a map, written line by line, for those who feel they have a mission and have not yet understood what it is. The link is in the description of this video and is pinned at the top of the comments. It just takes a tap. People who downloaded it have written to me saying they slept in peace for the first time in years after reading it, that they stopped having those disturbing dreams, that they felt the presence of their guardian angel inside their home. And look, this content could be taken down at any moment because it touches on truths that bother those who prefer the people asleep. Do not leave for later what heaven is offering you now. If you felt it, comment just Amen to seal this instant before God. Now listen to me carefully, because what comes next is the point where most people stumble and give up before they even begin. Have you noticed that there is a silent dialogue happening inside you all the time? That little voice that comments on everything, that complains about traffic, that criticizes the neighbor, that doubts the mirror, that repeats, and repeats that this won't work, that it always happens to me, that I'm not lucky. This voice has a technical name in the ancient teachings, mental diet, and it is not innocent. It is literally the engineer of your reality. Neville Goddard taught that the mental diet is your official request to the universe, not the morning prayer, not the request at Mass, not the candle lit in the sanctuary. The true request is what you say inside your head in the moments when no one is looking, in traffic, in the shower, before sleeping, upon waking. If your mental diet is repeating, I am tired, I have no money, no one loves me, it will go wrong, then your subconscious mind is executing this command as if it were a divine sentence. Because for the subconscious, feeling is an order, and an order with feeling is a decree, and a decree is fulfilled. That is why when Joseph Murphy spoke of the power of the subconscious, he was not talking about naive positivity. He was talking about the most sacred mechanism that exists within the human being, the ability to shape reality by the simple act of feeling oneself to be what one desires to be. The feeling is the secret, not the word, not the theatrical faith, not the mechanical repetition of pretty phrases. The feeling, the real vibration, the genuine emotion, the one that makes your chest warm up. And here science enters, so you never have doubts again. Researchers at the HeartMath Institute in the United States demonstrated that the human heart emits an electromagnetic field 5,000 times stronger than that of the brain. 5,000 times. This field extends for meters around your body and influences everything around you: people, environments, opportunities, the choices of others, encounters. When you feel fear, this field contracts and attracts exactly what you fear. When you feel gratitude for what has not yet come, as if it already had, this field expands and magnetizes your new reality. This is not a metaphor. This is measurable physics. And it is exactly what the law of assumption has always said, millennia before scientists confirmed it in the laboratory. So the question that needs to burn inside you now is, what are you feeling for the majority of the day? Because that, and only that, is what is building your next week, your next month, your next year. If you spend the day feeling that money is lacking, the lack materializes. If you spend the day feeling that you do not deserve love, love does not arrive. If you spend the day feeling that your family is in danger, you open spiritual doors to that danger. This is the hard truth. But it is also the key to liberation. And those who understand it never go back to living on their knees. And it is exactly at this point that I need to take you off autopilot and remind you of something. This tightness in your chest that you are feeling now, hearing these words, is not nervousness. It is recognition. Your soul is saying, I knew it. You felt that you had a spiritual responsibility for your family, that there was a protection that depended on you waking up, and you put it off. Do not put it off anymore. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you, How to Know If You Are Saved for the Day of Judgment. The link is in the description and at the top of the comments. It is not reading, it is awakening. Download it now before something interrupts you again. Comment I am to register that you have decided. Well, now that you have understood the problem, let's go to the practical solution. The law of assumption in its purest form teaches the following. You need to assume the feeling of the desire already fulfilled. Repeat with me mentally. Assume the feeling of the desire already fulfilled. Not asking, not waiting, not negotiating with God. Assuming, occupying, like someone who enters a new house and closes the door behind them without looking back. Let's get down to the concrete, because I know your life is concrete. You have an overdue electricity bill that is keeping you awake. The wrong way, the way that 90% of people use without realizing it, is to keep repeating, I need to pay this bill. I need to pay this bill. My God, I need to pay this bill. Every time you say this, with a tight heart, you are decreeing exactly the state of I need to pay, which is to say, of not having paid yet. The universe, the subconscious, the field, call it what you want, does not understand the word need. It understands the feeling, and the feeling of need is the feeling of I do not have. Period. The correct way within the law of assumption is to stop everything. Close your eyes and imagine with a wealth of detail the exact moment you open your bank app and see that the bill has been paid. Feel the relief on your shoulders falling away. Feel the spontaneous smile rising on your face. Feel the urge to give thanks out loud. Feel the lightness in your chest that seemed impossible, and remain in that feeling for at least 2 minutes, repeating internally, I am someone with my bills paid. I am abundance. I am divine provision manifested. It does not matter how it will happen. Your function is not to discover the path. Your function is to occupy the state. Neville Goddard called this the bridge of incidents. When you assume the state of the desire fulfilled and maintain it with persistence, the universe automatically builds a bridge of small events to take you from point A to point B. It could be an unexpected call from an old client, an extra job that appears, a person who appears out of nowhere with a proposal, an idea that comes in the shower, a wrong number that calls and opens a door. You do not need to understand the bridge. You only need to cross it when it appears. And it will appear because the fourth dimension, the realm of assumed feelings, always manifests in the third dimension, the world of facts, without exception. Now let's go to an example that might be yours. You have been alone for too long. You have already tried apps, you have tried recommendations from friends, you have tried asking the saints of your devotion, and nothing. You look in the mirror at night and feel a wave of, "This will never happen for me." Every time you feel this, you are pushing away exactly the love you desire, because your electromagnetic field is emitting the frequency of undeserving, and the universe is delivering to you with perfect obedience situations that confirm that frequency. Cold conversations. The wrong men, lukewarm dates, messages that do not arrive. The turnaround comes when you decide, in the most unlikely moment, to feel loved. Not to wait to feel loved when love arrives, to feel loved now, to walk down the street like a loved woman, to have breakfast like a loved woman, to go to work like a loved woman, to fall asleep hugging your pillow as if it were the shoulder of the man who is already coming, even if he does not yet have a face, even if he does not yet have an address. The feeling is the invitation. The feeling is the address. The feeling is the secret, and the universe is obligated by spiritual law to deliver. And the same goes for the healing of that heavy family situation that is consuming you, that rebellious child who does not listen to you, that estranged brother who cut off contact, that distant husband who lives in the same house but in another world, that sick mother who seems to be getting worse. You will not heal this situation by staying worried all day long. Worry is prayer in reverse. Worry is inverted faith. Worry is assuming the state of the problem and asking for more of it from the universe. Healing begins when you start to feel, even without external proof, that that person has already been healed, that that relationship has already been restored, that peace has returned to your home, and you sustain this feeling against everything and everyone. And perhaps it is now, hearing this, that you are finally understanding the reason for everything that happened in the last few months, why that name came to your memory 3 times this week, why you woke up in the middle of the night for no apparent reason, feeling that you needed to pray for someone, why you felt the urge to call a person you haven't spoken to in years. This is not a coincidence in this video, it is a summons. You were positioned here, at this exact minute, to receive the next part of the revelation. And this next part requires one thing, that you be prepared. That is why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. It is called How to Know If You Are Saved for the Day of Judgment, and it answers, with rare spiritual clarity, the questions you cannot ask out loud, about the signs of the times, about who really carries the seal of the chosen, about how to shield your family before the night comes. The link is in the description of this video and is pinned at the top of the comments. It just takes a tap. Hundreds of people have written to me saying they stopped feeling the spiritual weight they had been carrying for years, that they rediscovered faith they thought was dead, that they started crying with peace in the middle of the reading without knowing how to explain it. Do not put it off, because this content could be removed without notice. Tap there, download it now, and come back. I will wait. Comment, "I am ready," if you have just made this decision. Returning to the practical lesson, I need to teach you the most powerful technique of all. The technique that Neville Goddard called the state akin to sleep, and that Joseph Murphy taught as the portal of reprogramming. It is the technique that you will apply every night religiously for at least 21 days in a row. And when you come out of these 21 days, your life will never be the same. I can guarantee this because I have seen it happen hundreds of times with people of all ages in all regions of the Midwest. It works like this. When you are preparing to sleep in that soft state when the body is already heavy, but the mind is still semi-conscious, there is a gap, a short window of perhaps 10 or 15 minutes in which the door between the conscious and the subconscious is unlocked. It is the sacred hour. It is the hour when everything you feel enters directly into the program that will run your reality in the coming days. Most people use this hour to review everything that went wrong during the day, to worry about tomorrow, to complain mentally about their boss, their partner, life, the government, the economy. And then they sleep and wake up in the same infinite loop of problems, and they blame God, when in fact it was they themselves who gave the order, sleeping inside the problem. The turnaround is this. Starting today, when you feel sleep coming, you will choose a short scene. A scene that represents your desire already fulfilled. It could be you hugging your recovered child, you signing the papers for the new house, you receiving a tight hug from your love, you looking at your bank balance with absolute tranquility, you hearing your doctor say, "Everything is clear, there is no more illness." Choose one, only one. And you will enter this scene with all 5 senses. You will smell the environment, hear the sounds around you, feel the temperature on your skin, notice the colors, and you will feel until that scene is more real to your body than your own bed. And then you sleep. You sleep inside the scene, without letting go of the feeling, without letting critical thought return. And when you wake up the next day, even without realizing it, your chemistry has changed. Your electromagnetic field has changed. Your frequency has changed. And the universe begins that same morning to reorganize the pieces on the board to deliver to you exactly what you planted the night before. That is how it works. That is how it has always worked. The ancients knew this, the moderns forgot. But, and here comes the error that nullifies the manifestation of almost everyone, there is one word that separates those who manifest from those who only dream. That word is persistence. Persistence is not repeating the technique once. Persistence is not betraying the state when external facts contradict you. Persistence is even receiving the bill tomorrow, even the relationship still seeming distant, even the illness still giving visible signs, even the child still acting out, you continuing to firmly assume the feeling of the desire fulfilled, as if you already had what you asked for, as if the prayer had already been answered the instant it was made, because spiritually it was. The delay is just the bridge of incidents being built. Most people give up on the 3rd day. Some reach the 7th. Very few cross the 14th, and only the chosen cross the 21st. And it is these, and only these, who see life yield, who see the marriage heal, who see health return, who see the child return home asking for forgiveness, who see abundance arrive like a wave. It is not magic. It is law. The law of assumption, immutable as gravity, impartial as the sun that rises for everyone, without distinction. Now let me ask you a direct question, which will hurt but which needs to be asked. How many times in your life have you given up on the 3rd day? How many times have you started a prayer, a promise, a firm decision, and abandoned it at the first setback? How many times have you confused haste with faith? And that is exactly why you are in this cycle. Not because God forgot about you, not because your saints abandoned you, not because you do not deserve it, but because you gave up just when the bridge of incidents was being built in the invisible. You abandoned the work 1 centimeter before delivery, and you went back to square one, again and again and again. Today this cycle ends. Today, within this video, at this exact instant, you assume a new state of consciousness. You assume that you are someone persistent. You assume that you are someone blessed. You assume that you are someone who receives. And you do not let go anymore. It does not matter what happens tomorrow. It does not matter who says otherwise. It does not matter what the news screams. You become unshakable in the feeling. Because you understood that the feeling is the secret and the secret is your salvation. And now comes the most delicate part of all, and that is why this video is different from everything you have ever seen. I said at the beginning that Michael is giving you 30 seconds to understand who entered your house while you were distracted. These guests have names, and you need to name them to expel them. The first is called comparison. It enters when you open social media and look at the supposedly perfect lives of others. It convinces you that you are late, that you are losing, that you are falling behind. The second is called resentment. It settled in on the day someone hurt you and you could not forgive. It eats your energy every night while you sleep and returns exhaustion in the morning. The third, and perhaps the most dangerous, is called old identity. It reminds you 24 hours a day of who you were one day, of your past pain, of your previous failure, of your defeated version, of your story that has not yet been rewritten. These three guests do not leave with a candle. They do not leave with an herbal bath. They do not leave with popular superstition. They leave with one thing only, a new declaration of who you are, a new I am statement. Repeat now, out loud, with your hand on your chest, feeling every word resonate inside your body. I am blessed. I am enough. I am loved. I am prosperous. I am whole. I am free. I am guided. I am protected. This declaration is the sword of Michael manifested in your mouth. It is with it that you expel those who should not be living in you. And from the moment these guests leave, something absolutely extraordinary happens. The house is cleaned, the electromagnetic field of your heart is purified, your frequency rises, and the universe, which was delivering to you what those guests asked for on your behalf, finally begins to deliver to you what your soul has always wanted. Money flows. Love finds the address. Healing manifests. The family reorganizes from within. Doors open in sequence. The right people appear with the right proposals at the right time. But this only happens if you do your part. And your part is the sustained feeling. It is the clean mental diet. It is the persistence in the full 21 days. It is the absolute refusal to return to the old identity. No one does this for you. Not the most powerful angel, not the most devout saint, not the most anointed pastor, not the most expensive therapist. The work is yours. The choice is yours. The kingdom is yours, and it is within you. And do you know what is most impressive? It is that everything that seems complex today can be executed from a decision made in silence, right now, while you are still hearing my voice. You do not need to wait for next Monday. You do not need to wait for the beginning of the month. You do not need to wait for the right phase of the moon. The turnaround happens when you speak, even without audio, within yourself. I am new from this second on. I am someone who receives. I am someone who wins. I am someone who protects my house. There is a phrase by Neville Goddard that I would like you to write down somewhere in your house, on a post-it on the fridge, behind the bathroom mirror, on the first page of your planner, in some corner that you see every day, several times a day. The phrase is, assume the feeling of the desire fulfilled and observe how reality bends to confirm the assumed state. It is not by asking, it is by assuming. It is not by waiting, it is by occupying. It is not by hoping, it is by feeling. This is the key that unlocks the gates of the fourth dimension, and once unlocked, they do not close again. And now listen to me with your soul, not just with your ears. You are one of the few who still has ears for this message. Most people today are asleep, hypnotized by screens, by news, by the dramas of others, by empty entertainment. But you are here, until this minute. And that means something very big. It means that there is, within you, a spark that refused to go out, a divine stubbornness, a buried but alive faith, a root that continued breathing underground even in the longest winter. Do not let this spark die just because life was hard. Blow on it, feed it, defend it, because it is from this spark that your new reality will be born. And more, it is from this spark that your family will depend when the night comes. And to help you blow on this spark, to help you maintain focus when the world screams the opposite, to help you protect your family spiritually in the days to come, that is exactly why I prepared the powerful digital book for you. It is called How to Know If You Are Saved for the Day of Judgment. It is not a coincidence that it is the theme. It is not a coincidence the time we are living in. It is not a coincidence that you have arrived here in the video, hearing every word, feeling every turnaround. The link is in the description. It is pinned at the top of the comments. Hundreds of people have already written to me saying, the book changed how they pray, how they sleep, how they raise their children, how they face the news, how they relate to their own faith. You need this reading. And you need it today, not tomorrow, today, before the content is taken down. Tap the link, download the book, Set aside 40 minutes of your night and read in silence without a cell phone, without a television, without distraction. You will feel a wave of peace that perhaps you have not felt in years. You will feel clarity about decisions that were stuck for too long. You will feel certainty that you are being guided by the hand. And if there is still any doubt, comment just the word "sealed" to register that this decree was made between you and God this night, with this video as a living witness. I want to close with you by remembering the title of this video. Michael giving you 30 seconds to understand who entered your house while you were out. The guests who entered were named. The expulsion tools were delivered. The law of assumption was explained. The state akin to sleep technique was revealed. The secret of feeling was exposed. The bridge of incidents was described. Persistence was demanded. There is no lack of information anymore. There is only a lack of decision. And the decision ultimately is always internal. It is you saying, with the courage of the ancient prophets, "I am, and from I am I rewrite my story, the story of my family, and the story of my blood." May your mental diet from this night on be sacred. May your feeling from this night on be that of the desire fulfilled. May your persistence from this night on cross the 21st day without faltering. And may your family, from this night on, be protected by the sword of Michael and by the authority of the I Am that dwells within you. Comment "Decree made" to seal this moment before heaven. Subscribe to the channel as a pact of spiritual continuity, because what comes in the next videos is the direct continuation of this mission. Share this video with that person who came to your mind while you were listening. It was not chance, it was silent intercession. And do not forget to download the book, How to Know If You Are Saved for the Day of Judgment, in the link in the description and at the top of the comments. Because the video ends here, but your new life begins exactly the second you close this screen and take 3 deep breaths, feeling for the first time in a long time that you are exactly in the right place, at the right time, with the right mission in your hands. Amen. And until our next meeting, next.